According to the Cuban government, the vessel was registered in Florida and had approached the El Pino Channel in Villa Clara province before the confrontation. Early in the morning of this February 25, 2026, a fast speedboat in violation was detected within Cuban territorial waters, bearing a Florida, United States registration, which approached within 1 nautical mile to the northeast of the El Pino Channel in Cayo Falcones, Corralillo Municipality, Villa Clara Province, part of the statement reads. The ministry noted that the confrontation began when Cuban border guard units moved in to identify the vessel, after which shots were allegedly fired from the speedboat toward Cuban personnel, leaving the commander of the Cuban vessel injured. Please subscribe to AI Daily News 100. Authorities said 4 individuals aboard the boat were killed during the exchange, while 6 others sustained injuries and were taken for medical treatment. As a surface unit of the border guard troops, with 5 combatants, approached for identification purposes, fire was opened from the violating speedboat against the Cuban personnel, resulting in the commander of the Cuban vessel being injured. As a consequence of the confrontation, as of the close of this information, on the foreign side, 4 aggressors were killed and 6 injured, who were evacuated and received medical assistance. Cuba has reaffirmed its commitment to protecting its territorial waters, with the ministry maintaining that national defense is a fundamental pillar for the Cuban state in support of safeguarding its sovereignty and stability in the region. Investigations into the incident are ongoing as Cuba seeks to establish the full circumstances surrounding the confrontation. U.S. Congressman Carlos Jimenez of Florida, while reacting to the attack, condemned the Cuban government, accusing Havana of carrying out a deadly attack against American citizens. Please subscribe to AI Daily News 100. The dictatorship in Cuba has just attacked a boat from Florida and murdered those on board. This regime must be relegated to the dustbin of history, he said. The attack follows a U.S. military operation in the Caribbean Sea earlier this month that left 3 suspected drug traffickers dead during an anti-narcotics mission. The United States Southern Command, SOUTHCOM, Commander Francis L. Donovan, said U.S. forces targeted a vessel believed to be operating along established drug trafficking routes. Please subscribe to AI Daily News 100. On February 13, at the direction of SOUTHCOM Commander General Francis L. Donovan, Joint Task Force Southern Spear conducted a lethal kinetic strike on a vessel operated by designated terrorist organizations. Intelligence confirmed the vessel was transiting along known narco-trafficking routes in the Caribbean and was engaged in narco-trafficking operations, read part of the statement. Francis confirmed the death of 3 suspected narco-terrorists and said no American personnel were injured during the operation. The 2 incidents come as Washington increases pressure on Cuba after major geopolitical developments in the region, including the removal of Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, and a shift in U.S. foreign policy toward the Western Hemisphere. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is expected to address Caribbean leaders' concerns about Cuba during a Caribbean Community CARICOM Summit. Please subscribe to AI Daily News 100. Rubio, a Cuban-American long critical of Havana's leadership, is also seeking continued regional cooperation on Venezuela and Haiti during the meeting in St. Kitts and Nevis. After attending President Donald Trump's State of the Union address in Washington on Tuesday night, Rubio traveled overnight to the summit. He became the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit the small Caribbean nation. Venezuela halted key oil shipments to Cuba, following a January 3rd operation in which U.S. forces captured Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. This deepened the island's economic crisis, marked by fuel shortages and frequent power outages. Please subscribe to AI Daily News 100. Speaking at the CARICOM Summit, Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness warned that worsening conditions in Cuba could destabilize the region and trigger increased migration. Humanitarian suffering serves no one, Holness said. A prolonged crisis in Cuba will not remain confined to Cuba. Holness said Jamaica supports democratic governance and free market principles, but called for humanitarian assistance and dialogue between Havana and Washington. Jamaica supports constructive dialogue between Cuba and the United States aimed at de-escalation, reform, and stability. We believe there is space, perhaps more space now than in years past, for pragmatic engagement. St. Kitts and Nevis. Prime Minister Terence Drew also warned that instability in Cuba could have broader regional consequences. Please subscribe to AI Daily News 100. A destabilized Cuba will destabilize all of us, the PM said. Drew, who studied medicine in Cuba, said worsening living conditions on the island include food shortages, power outages, and deteriorating public services. The United States has maintained sanctions on Cuba for decades after Fidel Castro's 1959 revolution, and tensions remain high despite intermittent diplomatic engagement. Although Washington has recently held quiet discussions with Havana, the Trump administration has warned that countries supplying oil to Cuba could face sanctions, even as some proposed restrictions, including limits on remittances, have not yet been implemented. Please subscribe to AI Daily News 100. The United States, however, on Wednesday said it will ease restrictions on Venezuelan oil exports to Cuba's private sector for humanitarian reasons, as the island reels from an energy crisis. The Treasury Department said in a notice it would allow transactions that support the Cuban people, including the Cuban private sector, such as oil exports, for commercial and humanitarian use. Please subscribe to AI Daily News 100.